Hello and welcome to episode number 8 of the 2 Goal Lead podcast presented by BCHL Network. Hope you're doing well. My name is Brian Wiebe. I'm the editor-in-chief and owner of BCHL Network. Have to start off the episode with a sincere thanks to you for listening along to all 7 episodes of the 2 Goal Lead podcast, as well for reading what we've got over at bchlnetwork.ca. Some interesting nuggets of information regarding expansion in the BCHL, as well. Lots of talk about Chilliwack and where it fits with what might happen with the Winnipeg Ice in the Western Hockey League. So you can check that out over at bchlnetwork.ca if you want to see the latest there, plus some new articles about to be published as well. So lots of good stuff going on at the BCHL Network. Should also mention that if you want to join BCHL Network, we are looking for writers to cover all sorts of different things about Canada's top junior A league, the BCHL. If you'd like to, just click on Join Our Team there on the website, and I'll be happy to get back to you with all the details about joining BCHL Network. By the way, the minimum to stay as a writer on the website is a minimum commitment of 2 500-word articles per month. Now, could you write more than that? Absolutely, but that's the minimum. 500-word articles, only 2 of them each month if you want to get some experience with online writing with the team at BCHL Network. I'm really excited about the guest that we've got here today on the 2 Goal Lead podcast. He is an 18-year-old, turns 19 in May, from Anaheim, California, plays defense for the Merritt Centennials, and is committed to Air Force Academy for September 2024. His name is Kyle Isenberg, and he's with us now on the 2 Goal Lead podcast presented by BCHL Network. Kyle, thanks so much for taking the time to chat here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
So it's been a bit of a tough go for the Centennials this season, but is there one thing that you could pinpoint for the club that's been a silver lining to this point?
I mean, I don't think our record really shows the effort that we've put in this season. I think that our team has definitely been moving in the right direction.
How would you say that you've grown as a person and a player this season?
Well, I'd say coming in, the main thing I needed to improve on is my defensive side of the game. So I think I've spent a lot of time really trying to develop that more, and I feel that I've really improved in that aspect of my game.
How about how you've grown as a person?
I mean, yeah, Merritt being a smaller town has a lot of character. So I think it's kind of opened my mind coming from a very large city, being from California. So I think that it's just made me a better person, coming closer with the people in the town and kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, you're from Anaheim. Is there any community that you've been to that Merritt reminds you of?
No, not at all. I'd say it's definitely been a big change, but I have to say I've loved every second of it here.
I was going to say, do you feel that you are the type of person that fits better in a big city or in a small community like Merritt?
Being used to the big city, I honestly think it was just nice to have some change. So I'd say both. I'm a fan of both, but I'd say big city is probably still more my thing.
Now, the Centennials power play this season has been pretty respectable, 11th in the league on the road. At home, it's 16th in the league. What do you think might be the reason for the discrepancy there?
I think it's just a possession thing. I think once we get set up, we're pretty lethal on the power play. So I'm not really sure if it has anything to do with being at home or away. I think it's just a matter of the bigger ice versus the smaller ice.
So talk a little bit about the small ice there at the Nicola Valley Memorial Arena. How much do you as a team try to use that to your advantage?
Yeah, obviously the boards are pretty responsive in the NVMA. So we try to use that to our advantage sometimes. I don't know if you saw or remember, but Connor Farron made a play where he kind of just iced it down off the boards and gave Jackson Krill a breakaway, and we ended up scoring off it. So I think just those bounces off the boards are we really tend to use those to our advantage.
In looking at the pieces that are in place in Merritt, how realistic is it for the team to compete for among the top teams in the Interior Conference next season?
I think that the pieces that we have now, I think we're only going to get better. So I'm really excited to see how we do match up next year. And I think we definitely have a a lot of skill and honestly a lot of grit as well. So I think we could do some serious damage next year.
Now, you spent your time with your hometown club in Anaheim, mostly with the Junior Ducks program. How integral was that program to your development overall?
Um, I'd say it was huge, especially last season. My head coach, August Aiken, he really taught me a lot and how to just be a smart, really, really strong hockey player. And I think all of my coaches leading up to last year really helped me as well.
So you played with Penticton V's defender Josh Niedermeyer way back in 2017-18 on the Junior Ducks under 13 team. Now you're both in the BCHL. What's your relationship like with him?
I'd say we definitely lost touch a little bit, but it's definitely cool to see how we've both developed and become really strong hockey players. And it's really fun to play in the same league as him.
You mentioned August Aiken there. He's a player that spent parts of 3 seasons in the BCHL with Salmon Arm, West Kelowna, and Trail. Before coming to play in Merritt with the Centennials, how much did you talk to August about what it was like playing in the league?
A lot, actually. It almost seemed like a day-to-day basis we were talking about and playing in the BCHL. He shared a lot of awesome memories he had and the amount of fun he had playing in the BCHL and playing in all the different cities and the fans, and really gave me a good idea of what I was to expect coming in.
So you mentioned your season last year with the Junior Ducks, the under 18 team. You were their captain last season as well, led all the defensemen in scoring on that team. What do you attribute that success to that you had with that team last season?
I think that it was just because a lot of players after U16 tend to move away to play for the U18. So I think being one of the guys who stayed gave me an opportunity to, I guess, play a lot more and really develop my game a lot because I was given a lot of opportunity.
So you talked a little bit about wanting to play a 200-foot game. It's easy to look at your point totals. Do you take a lot of pride in the fact that you can be a two-way defender?
I do, yeah. I think me focusing more on my defensive side of the game, as I guess my points don't really show the kind of game that I play. But yeah, I think being a two-way player, it only helps the offense more. So being a defenseman, and I think that I just could probably shoot the puck more, but I think I'm definitely contributing offensively as much as I am defensively now.
You committed to Merritt last April after playing for the Junior Ducks. What was it about the Centennials that made you want to sign with them?
I think it was seeing their record last year. I thought it was coming into Merritt. I thought me as a player could really help the team out and help them move in the right direction. And I had been in contact with Coach Toneff a lot, and he was kind of explaining to me how this season would go, and everything he was saying just gave me a lot of interest in coming here.
You were the captain with the Junior Ducks last season after being an alternate captain for the age-appropriate teams the previous 3 years. You come into Merritt this season as a rookie player, and there's some established leaders on it. Did you find that to be a bit of a different situation for you in that respect?
I guess, yeah. I'd say this year is more of a learning year for me, just sort of seeing what the older guys being in the league longer, what they've experienced, and kind of receiving guidance and from what they've all gone through and what I'm to expect in the next couple of years here.
Is there a player on the Centennials that you connected with right away that going forward, once you're not in Merritt and you're playing college hockey, that you feel that you probably have a friendship with for the rest of your life?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, he's not on the team anymore, but Chase Cook, who's now with the Humboldt Broncos, I feel me and him sort of built a pretty strong friendship, and he sort of helped guide me to feel more comfortable on the team. But I'd say around the halfway point of the season when we picked up Jackson Murphy Johnson, I'd say he's been a good role model, and he's shown me what it takes to play in the BCHL.
What's the type of player that you gravitate towards? Is it the type of player that is a vocal leader, or is it the type of player that's more of a lead by example kind of guy?
I'd say this year it's more lead by example, but last year I'd say it was more vocal. but I'm sure next year I'll sort of try to blend it too to sort of help out the younger guys and then still try to develop my game on its own.
Do you like to be that sort of player that takes younger players under your wing and tries to show them the way?
I'd say so. Yeah. Yeah. I do enjoy guiding others. So, yeah, I think next year will be a big step for me and try to develop myself as a leader.
From an on-ice perspective, what's the transition been like going from playing under 18 to playing junior hockey?
Definitely the speed and skill. U18, it's a pretty big mix of guys who are sort of on their last limbs of youth hockey and guys who are still looking to take that next step. So I think junior hockey, playing in the BCHL is a very big step for me in terms of the speed and skill of the game.
You played a couple of games in the North American Hockey League last season as well, and I was reading on the Junior Ducks website that had a big impact on you in terms of where your game was at. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, I'd say playing in the North American League last year sort of gave me an idea of what to expect playing junior hockey, but I'd say that league is definitely a little more gritty. So definitely different from the BCHL, but I'd still say playing a couple of junior A games definitely helped me know what to expect coming in this season.
You're heading off to Air Force Academy in September 2024. What was it about the Falcons program that appealed to you?
Well, obviously the hockey, the facilities, but I think the main thing is the education because it's often compared to the Ivy League schools in terms of the acceptance rate, the education, the level of courses. And so it really intrigued me seeing what they had to offer.
Have you visited the campus there?
I actually went on my official visit last month, and that was really cool just to tour all the facilities, go to a class with one of the players, and get to watch a game. And that was really, really an awesome experience.
So how much are you looking forward to moving to Colorado?
Oh, I'm stoked. I've been to Colorado many times, and I've loved it every single time.
So a couple of fun ones to wrap things up with here. Who's the best player that you've ever played with?
I'd have to say James Hong. He was my teammate my U14 year and my U16 year. He's now playing in the United States Hockey League for the Waterloo Blackhawks. And we were actually workout buddies for a couple summers. So I think me and him really pushed each other to be better.
So give us a scouting report on him. How come he's the best you've ever played with?
The amount of speed and skill that he has, like it's pretty scary to play against. And his work ethic, it's second to none. Like he wants it more than anybody.
And could be a name that we hear called at the draft this year because I know he's ranked by Central Scouting.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if his name is called on draft day.
Okay, how about this one? Who's the best player you've ever played against?
Ooh, well, I did participate in the Brick tournament back in 2014, and I played against guys like Shane Wright, Matthew Savoy. So I'd definitely say those guys, seeing where they are now.
So you're playing against those players and you're playing defense. How do you stop them?
Well, I was actually forward at the time, so I actually got to play center against both of them. Yeah, it was my job to kind of shadow them the whole game and make sure they didn't put the puck in the net, but can't say I did a great job.
When did you make the transition to defense? Is that why?
No, it was my U13 year. I decided to move back.
So what was it though that made playing on the blue line a better fit for you?
I mean, that was just what I had started out with when I first started playing hockey, and I just always felt more comfortable on the back end.
I'm curious about coming from a place like Anaheim, because obviously we've seen the growth of the game in Southern California, and everybody talks about the Wayne Gretzky trade in 1988, which obviously is well before your time. But how much has the game grown in that area from, you look back when the Ducks were given an expansion team in the early 90s to where it is now?
Yeah, I'd say hockey in California just continues to take major strides in the hockey world. Now you're seeing high schools and ice academies starting to develop, which I participated in last year with my school, Orange Lutheran. I'd say that like hockey is really, really growing in California, and it's definitely something to watch out for because they're producing a lot of good players.
So in your opinion, what's the next step to take the game to another level in what is essentially a huge market like California?
Yeah. Well, I think they've already done a good job just building new, modern facilities that makes the sport of hockey very accessible to the people of California.
Okay, right on. Well, hey, Kyle, thanks so much for joining us here on the Two Goal Lead podcast presented by BCHL Network. Really appreciate you doing this, and best of luck to you and the Centennials for the rest of the season.
Yep, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Special thanks to my guest, Kyle Isenberg of the Merritt Centennials. He wears number 4 on the blue line for the Cents, an 18-year-old from Anaheim, California, who is off to Air Force Academy in September 2024. Look for big things for him from the Centennials blue line in the 23-24 season. Definitely looking forward to seeing how he develops as a hockey player in the BCHL. All right, check out all the latest in terms of articles and podcasts at bchlnetwork.ca. As well, you can find this podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms. Would absolutely be thrilled if you could hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe. I'd just be forever grateful if you were able to do that when you're checking out the podcast on your favorite platforms. All right, that'll do it for us for today. Thanks again for listening to the Two Goal Lead podcast presented by BCHL Network. My name is Brian Wiebe, owner and editor-in-chief of BCHL Network, and I'll talk to you next time.